Hello and welcome to Notice Tonight, India Votes 2019 series. I am Wasbir Hussain. Exactly 5 days from now, the nation will get the people's verdict on the Lok Sabha polls. Elections 2019 is on its last lap with the final round of polling set for tomorrow. Everyone is awaiting the possible outcome on the 23rd of May, but there are a lot of other things that merit a discussion at this stage before we all get tied with the poll results and government formation. The first question that is being asked is this: has election 2019 got over with bitter and harsh poll rhetoric, with parties and politicians avoiding real issues either deliberately or otherwise? Did the election discourse or rather the campaign discourse touch the lowest point ever since our country witnessed the first national elections in 1952? Rahul Gandhi's jibe, Chaukidar Chor Hai, or the more recent one where Prime Minister Modi referred to former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi as Bhrastachari number 1. What does such remarks reflect about our democracy? Talking about the possible verdict, well, one will have to wait patiently until the 23rd. But yes, the BJP-led NDA had faced the polls with a whole lot of allies, whereas the anti-BJP or anti-NDA forces are not seen to be in any solid formation. The Mahagathbandhan did not take off except the coming together of otherwise bitter rivals, the Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party in Uttar Pradesh. So, does the NDA have an edge, considering it has so many allies, including several in the Northeast? To discuss these and more, I am joined from Shillong by NPP Meghalaya State President Mr. W.R. Karluki, a veteran political leader. Congress spokesperson Zarita Lightflang is with me from New Delhi. From Silchar, I am joined by leading political analyst and professor at Nehru University, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas. In Aizawl, I have veteran MNF leader, Mr. H. Ramawiya, former minister. And at our studios in Guwahati, I have Professor Akhil Ranjan Datta of Guwahati University, a very well-known political commentator. Assam BJP spokesman, Mr. Swapnanil Barua, is joining me soon. And political commentator, Mr. Avinav Barbara, is also there with me in the studios. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Northeast Tonight. Now, the question is, Zarita Lightflang, I'm coming straight to you, Zarita, in New Delhi. Zarita, you know, many are saying that the NDA has so many allies. They have allies in most parts of the country, including several in the Northeast. Whereas your party, that is the Congress, has very few allies and minuscule. There is hardly any allies. Do you think you have a disadvantage there? Zarita, there is a time gap there. If you can hear me.
Wasbir, the NDA would be pleasantly surprised when the results are out on May 23rd. First and foremost, when you talk about the allies, it is not always the numbers. If you're talking about the Northeast, BJP might have. Can you hear me?
Yes, carry on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, carry on, please.
See, when it comes to allies, we definitely know what kind of games the BJP has played and what kind of horse trading it has done with most of the regional parties when it comes to the Northeast. And come May 23rd, Northeast is going to give a befitting reply to the BJP and its so-called allies who think that they could reach the power corridors by, piggy banking on a party that is all out to annihilate the entire Northeast. Be it the NRC, be it the CAB, it has totally gone against the people of the Northeast. So we have to realize that BJP does not work in the interest of the people of the Northeast. They are totally out there in the Northeast to destroy the social fabric of the Northeast.
Okay, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you to take this further. My same question goes to Mr. Ramawiya, MNF leader. Mr. Ramawiya, how are you looking at it? Do you think the smaller parties, do you think regional parties, do you think is going to have a lot of impact, going to make a lot of impact, even play the role of kingmakers this time? Do you think every single seat will be important for the BJP? What is your assessment?
Well, in Indian election, since the year 1952, we have seen the result and the outcome of elections. This time, as you know, we have two political parties, two forums. One is NDA, one is UPA. UPA is led by Congress. NDA is led by BJP. We all know that. But this time, last time also, many people said that BJP will not be in power, but they are in power. This time also, anti-incumbency will be there in the existing ministry, central ministry.
Yeah.
But let us see what will be the result.
Right.
We expect the BJP and NDA allied will be in power.
Okay, we'll have to, Mr. Ramaiah, hold on your thoughts. We'll have to wait and watch till the 23rd. Mr. Karluki, you know, one of the focus in this election, the question we are asking is whether this election 2019, we are at the last lap. The final round of election is going to happen tomorrow. The elections are, voting is going to be over. Mr. Karluki, as a political leader, as a veteran political leader, are you not really upset, little bit at least, that, you know, the political discourse this time only centered around rhetoric and nobody discussed about real issues affecting the common man? You know, we have seen Prime Minister, we have seen Rahul Gandhi talking about Chokidar Chor hai. We have seen Prime Minister saying, referring to Rajiv Gandhi as Bhrastachari #1. So, do you think the entire election discourse was ended with this kind of allegations, counter allegations? It has never reached this level.
Well, I may say that this is also part of the politics. We cannot deny the fact that every political parties have their own agenda, have their own manifesto of governance. But somehow, in the course of events, it became personalized. But even then, party when elected, they will have their own agenda of governance. It will not affect the country like India. But the only thing is that I'm very sure that this 2019 election, neither of the two big parties will be able to form the government without the regional parties.
Okay, we'll expand on that. That's a very, very confident statement made by Mr. Karluki. He knows the pulse of the people, of course. We'll expand on that. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, I'm coming to both of you, Swapnanil Barua and Avinav. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, you know, rhetoric, and there are even suggestions that never ever had the elections in this country since 1952 when we had our first election, the discourse had hit an all-time low. You know, people hitting below the belt even. So are you a surprised man today?
No, I'm not at all surprised to see all these, you know, kind of rhetorics around. And there are a lot of things that we need to keep in mind when we look at the kind of campaigns that we have witnessed in this current election. First of all, we need to understand that media, either electronic media or social media, had never been so strong as it is today. Now, it depends on what kind of issues are picked up by social media, for that matter, electronic media. Who takes this rhetoric to the people, particularly media. Therefore, we need to understand that there is a very important role played by media in this regard. Coming back, yes, there has been rhetoric because all political parties conform to what I call neoliberal economic policies. And neoliberal economic policies, they have the similarities rather than differences among the political parties.
Right.
But despite that, if you look at we are picking up certain categories of discourses. We are not looking at really the concrete issues which are also being dealt with by political parties at the grassroots. Because
Absolutely.
you cannot just,
Right.
look at the kind of rhetorics which are at the
Yeah.
mainstream.
Absolutely.
But suddenly I feel when the political parties go to the people, as there are a lot of movements around, social movements and social resistance is so strong, I do not believe that political parties, whichever political party it may be, it has not addressed the substantive issues.
It's not
I-
addressed. So we'll
no,
come
it
to
has
that.
addressed. I don't believe that it
Oh,
has
it
not
has addressed the
It
substantive
has
issues.
addressed. It
Okay,
has to address.
I'll come to Avinav. What do you think? How did it look? Because we are at the fag end of the elections. If you look back from the phase one that began on the 11th of April, do you think the as Akhil Ranjan Datta thinks that political parties, despite the rhetorics, did address the substantive issues? Do you look at it differently, or are you in agreement with him?
No, if you look at the discourse that has been tried to be created by the opposition, you would see that they have stressed upon issues of employment, they have stressed upon issues of joblessness, they have stressed upon issues of agrarian crisis. But at the same time, you cannot rule out the fact that these issues have remained largely marginal, and the main election has been contested over some one or two broad-based overarching rhetorical issues. And I think this is not the first time that we have seen the use of rhetoric in elections. I would rather say that Indian elections has largely been contested over one or two overarching and rhetorical issues. If 77 was all about the restoration of democracy, 89 became all about Bofors, 2014 became all about development and corruption, and now it has the entire election has largely reduced to a referendum on national security. Do we require national security or do we not? But at the same time, I would also like to agree to what Professor Akhil Ranjan Datta has said, that despite this fact, I think it has to be said to the credit of the opposition parties that many of the opposition parties have stressed upon important issues pertaining to the economic structure, which the ruling party has shied away from addressing.
National security versus economic discourse. Swapnanil Barua, I am coming to you, Zarita Lifelong, I am coming to you, Prosenjit Biswas as well, very shortly. Mr. Swapnanil Barua, your party tried to come up with this narrative of a strong government, a strong prime minister, national security being the paramount, and nation's interest and security being absolutely secure at the hands of the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But on the other hand, the opposition, whether it is the Congress, whether it is the other other anti-BJP, anti-NDA forces, they have been trying to take the narrative to, as Avinav has said, to the agrarian distress, to unemployment, to job opportunities, to inflation, and so on and so forth. They wanted to take the narrative. Now, do you agree that if the Indian voters vote on who should be their next prime minister, your party seems to be having an edge, because your party has Narendra Modi, which has been projected, there is no two opinion about that, is the prime ministerial candidate. And if the voter vote on issues like agrarian distress, unemployment, Notbandi, and so on and so forth, then it is not sure for your party. So how would you take it? How do you explain?
Well, Wasbir, I think you're complicating issues too much. It's an election, we have to draw attention and get the attention of the people to
So you
to
mean
the
to say,
issues.
how was I complicating it?
No,
I mean, do you
I
believe
tell
that
you,
it
see,
should be only rhetorics and nobody should talk about real issues?
I'm not talking about rhetoric. This is an election. The leader has to reach out to the maximum amount of people. He must speak the language of the people which they decipher, which they can understand.
So is national security the only thing that is bothering the
National
Indians?
security is the broad platform on which other issues have also been has been spoken about, but somehow in the media coverage, these kind of things have been subsided, and only the national security aspect has been. It is point one, the starting point, and if you look at the constitution, I think the first point in the central list is the question of defense. If you go this way, the manifesto has detailed into 32 pages what the
manifesto is not for the common people. Manifesto
So,
is for the party cadres, how to mobilize the voters. That's a direction to the party man. Manifesto is not directed at the ordinary voter.
What I am saying is that you are corroborating what I am saying, is that the common man has to rally around one point which will draw attention to the party and ensure its re-election. and how you do
And that
best.
was, for 2019, it was national security and defense for you. That's what you were saying.
That
Okay,
is the
Jarita, yes. Jarita, I'm coming to you, Prasenjit. Yes, Jarita.
Wasbir, I want to come here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Wasbir, I want to come in here.
Go ahead.
Wasbir, I want to come in here.
Please go ahead, Jarita.
Wasbir, I want to ask the BJP spokesperson, out of the 125 promises that they had made in their last manifesto, how many have they fulfilled? Be it the 15 lakh into the accounts, be it national security, be it women's safety, be it they have just gone on and on and on. They have not fulfilled a single promise that they had made in their last manifesto. This election about them was about maligning people, about digging up graves. That is what they did. Besides that, they did not do anything better.
Okay, let him respond. Jarita, hold on. Let Swapnanil Barua respond to that. Yes, Swapnanil, please respond. Hold on your thoughts, Jarita.
Because there was no
please carry on.
Achedin.
I think
Swapnanil,
the
carry on.
only
Achedin
point I can
aayenge,
say
but
at
this
moment
time
is
they
that
did not
Carry
even
on.
use the term
the
Achedin.
continuance
And Sabka Saath,
process
Sabka
has been
Vikas. How do you
started off
explain
and
Sabka
every
Saath,
aspect
Sabka
of the promises
Vikas
made
when you're bringing
is
in
not-
lynching, when you have
which was
atrocities
spread out
against
for
women, when
10
you have
years,
atrocities
and
against the
then these 10
Dalits?
years has to continue. You cannot fulfill all the promises within the given time. And it takes certain promises to be fulfilled over a length of time. What has been promised in the 5 years has definitely been started. If you wanted to see the completion of all that, all factors were not in our possession. Let us say the question of bringing in money. You had such a long time to take. Regarding Masoor Azad, it took
You're
such a
trying to
long
tell
time.
me
All
that this
these kind of things.
125 promises
See,
that you have
all
made, you
these
could not
things
complete
you
it
will
within
see will be
within 5
understood and
years?
replied by the people in the election, that whether the process of
Okay,
fulfilling the promises.
okay. The BJP spokesman, Mr. Barua, is saying that you will get your answer on 23rd of May. I'm coming to you, Zarita. Hold on. I want your response after this. Let me go to Prasenjit Biswas. Prasenjit, your opening remarks. How are you looking at the situation? Whether this has been an election of rhetoric, whether people's issues were not raised by the political parties.
Well, we'd definitely like to see the...
Some of the issues that are already raised by Mr. Swapnanil Barua actually shows a certain syndrome of a statist, centrist kind of politics. The statist, centrist kind of politics is effectively challenged on the ground by the smaller nationalist forces who are spread across the northeast and the eastern region, as well as in the southern region. So we can see an upsurge of smaller regional parties against the statist, centrist narrative, which is presented in the form of national security, in the form of securing arrests of certain terrorists or not securing arrests of certain terrorists. Therefore, I would say that the national issues have veered towards the local, the regional, after a decade or so, and therefore we are seeing a majority upsurge of the local and regional parties in this time's election, which will unsettle the apple cart of the centrist statist forces such as Congress and BJP. Therefore, there is a distinct possibility
Right.
of an emergence
We will-
of the third front
we will-
forces
we
in
will-
this
we-
election.
Can-
Therefore,
yes.
the issues they have picked up are largely local.
Yes.
Can I add
yeah.
a
Yes.
few
Okay.
points?
Yes.
I
Very quickly.
think what Prasenjit said is very interesting, because Indian politics or Indian election for that matter is not only BJP versus Congress. We have hundreds of regional political
Yes,
parties,
definitely.
and
Yeah,
we are
let
not
me-
very sure
let
about
me-
what the regional political parties have talked
Yes,
about.
let me go to Mr. Ramawia, and I will also come to. Let me have Mr. Ramawia and Mr. Karluki on the screen on both sides. Mr. Ramawia, this election, as one of our panelists have said, is not about BJP and Congress alone. For example, the BJP's focus on defense and national security in a small state like Mizoram. What are the issues? Do you think it is the basic issues of jobs, good infrastructure, good roads, employment, good health care? Do you think those are the issues in a small state like Mizoram, for example?
In a small state like Mizoram, national security even if it is national security or the development, road construction, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though Mizoram is in a far-flung area, we are no doubt Indian. Mizoram is no doubt in Indian. But we are in between Myanmar and Bangladesh.
But what are
So
the
it's quite
issues?
far from
What are
Delhi.
what are the issues of concern to you? Is it only national security, or is there basic issues that impact on the common people?
I can hear you properly.
No, my question is, Mr. Ramawia, my question is it only about national security that people voted in the election, or people also voted for issues that impact on them, like jobs, unemployment, roads, better infrastructure, water supply? Okay, there is some problem with the line.
Wasbir, can I add a point here? I think extending to what Akhil Dutta was saying.
Let us fix the line to Mr. Ramawia. Yes,
The line is that, see, the regional aspirations in Indian politics cannot be disregarded, and the BJP is fully aware of it, and that is why we are talking about NEDA in the Northeast.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what
Point
would have
noted.
been the...
Point noted. That is what I began
that
my
is
discussion with the saying that BJP has enough allies in the northeastern region, apart from
At
across
least
the
we
country.
aspire to, we give respect to, and we feel that
Right.
at any time
Let me go to, your point has been duly noted, Mr. Swapnil Barua. Let me go to Mr. Kharluki. Mr. Kharluki, that question which I was asking to Mr. Ramawia, the line got, slightly disturbed. Mr. Kharluki, can I have Mr. Kharluki on the screen? Yes. Mr. Kharluki, the point is, do you think it's only about national security in smaller states, for example, in the Northeast? Is it not about infrastructure? Is it not about livelihood, jobs, higher education, health, etc.?
Yes, every election, it is always about development and policy, how to help the people economically. But 2019 election is not about BJP or Congress. This is about regionalism. And I'll tell you that regional leaders will be playing a major role in 2019 for any government to be formed in Delhi. And I can tell you that no...
Correct.
If I
Correct.
can supplement him, I think my feeling is that although I am in no position to comment on it, but even if the BJP roams home with a sufficient majority, I think the regional powers will be taken on board while forming the cabinet or in course of transaction of business in the development process. And that definitely will be quite a landmark in Indian politics.
Absolutely.
Which I feel
absolutely
is also in the agenda.
Absolutely. We'll go for a break, but before that, very quickly, Zarita Lifelong. Zarita, regional political leaders from the Northeast are saying it's not about BJP and Congress. My question to you, Zarita, is this. Whereas the BJP seems to have realized this, that regional parties are important, your party, the Congress, why is it that the Congress does not have any regional ally, at least in the Northeast? Why no regional allies in the Northeast for the Congress?
See, as of now, we decided on going on our own. That is why we did not have any regional allies. And we were confident that and very sure that we would be doing well by ourselves. Yeah, so the thing is that we decided on going on our own because we were sure that we could do it all by ourselves. However, if there's supposed to be any post-poll alliance, we could look into it. Any like-minded parties are welcome, and we do not disregard any regional party. We respect the sentiments of the people of Northeast. I myself come from Northeast. In fact, I come from Meghalaya, and I've seen what kind of horse trading takes place when the BJP tries to get into the soil of Northeast and try to spoil the social fabric of the region. So,
right. I'll come to you, Swapnalil, but Prosenjit Biswas, do you agree with this, perception? Do you agree with this assessment that if the voters have voted for a prime minister, then the BJP has an edge? But if they have voted on issues that concerns the common man, whereas issues like, for example, agrarian distress, unemployment, inflation, so on and so forth, do you think the non-BJP, non-NDA forces might spring a surprise?
No surprise, but non-NDA forces are doing quite well in terms of mobilization of their voters based on the local burning issues. For example, the issue about CAB has been a major bane for mobilizing voters in Nagaland and Mizoram and in Meghalaya. Similarly, the issue about flood and erosion has been a major issue in mobilizing voters in Lower Assam. So therefore, the issues get combined with the local and regional aspirations. But the problem with the statist centrist party, such as BJP or Congress, is that they want to treat the local and regional forces as the junior partner of theirs, which is a major political mistake, because of which the national parties are going to suffer losses in their own heartlands this time. I can talk about TMC, Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, which is going to throttle the national parties. You can see same thing in Assam, in Meghalaya, in Mizoram, in Nagaland, even in Bihar or in
we'll have to go for a
region of Maharashtra.
short break.
You can see a sparge of local and
Right. We'll have to go for a short break. When I come back, I'll go straight to Mr. Ramaiah in Aizawl and get his views on, and Zarita Lifelong also. I'm coming immediately after this very, very short break. Welcome back. I'm going straight to Mr. Ramaiah in Aizawl. Mr. Ramaiah, let's try to understand, let us take the case of Mizoram. MNF has a candidate. There is only one seat in Mizoram, we all know. MNF has a candidate. My question to you, in your assessment, what could the voters have looked while voting in this present Lok Sabha elections, the just concluded Lok Sabha elections in Mizoram?
Well, in the last Lok Sabha election,
in the present
in
Lok Sabha
Mizoram,
election,
we have one candidate.
Yeah.
And the other on the yes, on yes, on the other side, the Congress and its allies put one candidate. That means it seems like state fight.
Right. Right.
But in politics,
but my question to you, sorry, Mr. Ramaiah, my question is, what according to you, what must the voters have looked into, gone into while voting? What are the qualities or what are the issues on which they may have voted in these elections?
Well, it may happen in other states also. We have to look first, the voters look first to the candidates and activity. In the meantime, candidates are usually backed up by political parties. And the flow of political parties are what the people look for.
Candidates. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta, do you agree with this, that the voters first looks for candidates? Because, from the BJP's point of view, BJP thinks that the people will first look at the prime ministerial candidate rather than their MPs. So the MP candidate, in the BJP scheme of things, may not matter much as to who is the candidate. Because they have that confidence, the BJP's point of view, I'm saying, they have the confidence that people will vote for Mr. Narendra Modi. Do you agree with this perception?
No, I think that it's a combination of the both, not necessarily that at every point, even if it is applicable in case of BJP too. Voters will look at both the candidate and also the political party. If the candidate is an incumbent
yes,
MP,
Janita, come on.
Janita,
Janita, yes.
MP, I think that will be more applicable. They will look at the performance of the particular MP, incumbent MP, than the party.
Jarita,
but
please
in
go
case
on.
of the opposition
Jarita,
parties,
please go on.
I think in case of opposition parties, party will be more important. What are the issues being picked up by them, or whether the local issues have been addressed by them or not?
Yeah, yes, Jarita, yes. Jarita, please speak.
Wasbir, you know, there was a very famous TV serial that used to come on. There was a very famous TV serial that used to come on. It used to be called Vikram Betal. So in Vikram Betal, what happened is that the Betal would always be piggy banking on the back of the king with Vikram. So what has basically happened is the BJP has nobody else to piggy bank on, only on Narendra Modi. They do not have issues. They do not have any other thing besides.
But you cannot generalize.
On Modi.
You cannot
But when it
generalize,
comes to
Zarita, like that.
We know that we
absolutely
no,
her
also
perception.
look
How
at
can
the
you say that
candidate
there is only
and
Narendra
not
Modi? I
only
mean,
the
there has
issues.
been
We look
a
at the
string of
issues as
people.
well as the
I
candidates
think this is your very
before we
biased
want to go and
opinion
vote.
so far as.
So that is a very important
we
thing.
really can't
Even when
accept,
it comes to regional leaders, all the
We
be it
can't
Mizoram,
accept
be
that
it
you are
Nagaland, be it Meghalaya. See, no, because they do not have any other leader. They have only Narendra Modi. Every time it is Ab Ki Baar Modi Sarkar, they don't have any other Sarkar. Why not a BJP Sarkar? Why Modi Sarkar? Don't you all have anybody else?
It
You all
is
don't have
something
anybody
like
else to piggy
Tendulkar
bank
leading
on.
the
You all are
Indian
piggy
team.
banking
You
only on
both
one
said that the other
person.
players, in
There
a
are so
team
many
effort,
leaders
you
in your
definitely
party.
cannot have only depending on the leader. The whole team has to perform, and I'm sure every party, for that matter of fact, although it projects a leader, of course, I'm not talking about the Congress because they may not have a leader to really project as a prime ministerial candidate.
Okay, Congress does not have a leader. Jarita, Congress does not have a leader. That is what the BJP spokesperson is saying.
You still call it the Indian team. You do not call it Tendulkar team. You still call it the Indian team. You do not call it the Tendulkar
I
team.
think I would suggest that you look up tomorrow's papers and find out which. It's not IPL where it's Rajasthan Royals or something. Whenever it says that Dildori is 11
regarding
only one leader.
and I think she's
We have
making a very
myriad of leaders.
naive
The
generalization
saddest
that,
part is they only
that
can
the
embark on a
entire party
voyage
is only
that has
banking on
Modi
Modi, because if you
flying
see
its flag.
even in
Nothing
Assam,
else you all
they
have.
have
You all
dropped
have
5
nothing
sitting
else.
MPs. In Chhattisgarh, they have dropped all the MPs and replaced them with new faces. So of course Modi is functioning like their trump card, but it is not that they are not working at the level of candidates. If that would have been the case, I think they would not have replaced sitting MPs with newer faces. I think the Congress spokesperson should rather understand that what she is saying is actually applicable for the Congress party, where the Congress operates in Assam and in many other places with a strategy which could be called as a revival through rejects. The Congress wants to revive its party, but it chooses people who have already been popularly rejected by the people, who are again imposed upon the electorate for parliamentary elections. You talk about the Nagaon constituency. You talk about the Guwahati
Jarita has a
constituency.
lot to speak. Let me go, Jarita. Before you respond, let me go to Mr. Kharluki. Mr. Kharluki, you know, this allegation comes again and again. This allegation comes again and again that the BJP has this favorite strategy of piggybacking on regional parties. Particularly, take the example of the Northeast, where it is piggybacking on parties in Manipur, piggybacking on parties in Nagaland, and so on. So these are two fine examples, Manipur and Nagaland. The piggybacking on parties. That's the allegation leveled by the Congress and other non-BJP parties. How do you look at it? Because in Meghalaya, you are the leading party and BJP is the junior player.
Well, I will say on this that the BJP is playing their card very well, because I'll tell you, like what I said, the Congress will not be able to form the government without regional parties, neither the BJP. That's why the BJP realizing this, there's an alliance, and the Congress is not doing anything. And I'll tell you, the Congress will regret their failure of stitching an alliance in UP will cost them the government in 2019.
Wasbir, I can already...
Failure, Charita, failure of the Congress in stitching an alliance in UP will cost your party the government in 2019. That is coming from a senior regional party, a veteran regional party leader from Northeast. Zarita, from your own state, Mr. Kharluki. Zarita, your response. I'm coming to you, Swapnalil.
I have also something to
Yes.
Yeah.
Zarita. Yes, Zarita, go ahead.
Wasbir, 23rd May is going to give you the results. And when we form the coalition government with our allies and all the like-minded parties from the Mahagathbandhan, it would be a befitting reply for Ba Kharluki at that time.
Where is the Mahagathbandhan except in UP? Where is the Mahagathbandhan? Can you elaborate? Can you enlighten us? I apologize to the viewers for this long delay. Yes, Zarita.
Wasbir, till you get your sound clear, I think let me make my point is what I am trying to say is that if you don't...
Do you want me to tell you where is the Mahagathbandhan? Do you
Yes.
want me to give you seat-wise?
No, give a broad picture. Give a broad picture. Give a broad picture.
We've got a Gathbandhan in Bihar, we've got a Gathbandhan in Jharkhand, we've got a Gathbandhan in Karnataka, we've got a Gathbandhan in Kerala, we've got a Gathbandhan in Maharashtra, we've got a Gathbandhan in Odisha, we've got a Gathbandhan in Tamil Nadu, and we've got a Gathbandhan in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, that is less than 10 states.
so
Yes,
we
Swapnil
are-
Barua,
we have
please.
But
about
what I was trying to
106
say is
alliance
that
seats.
basically one thing you must realize is that if you don't have a pre-poll alliance, it's a breach of faith or lack of faith. And a post-poll alliance is always something of convenience of is trying to hobble up a government. I don't think that that is where we have
I have a different understanding. I was
Yes.
trying to, as a political scientist, I was trying to understand the narratives on alliance which has come up. Now, BJP has an alliance and Congress has a different alliance. What the Congress has been talking about is a kind of confederation. Confederation in the sense, if you look at UP, for example, Congress has definitely come up with SP and BSP, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there are non-convergences alone, because the whole point of agenda they have been talking about is secularism versus communalism. So if you look at all opposition political parties, all political parties who are targeting Narendra Modi, they have something in common. Therefore, I understand that because Congress is also talking about alternative strategy of bringing political parties together, they are talking more in terms of confederation than in terms of federation.
Absolutely.
In the sense that they have been talking about more in terms of you go autonomous, we don't have any problem.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that if
Let
time
me-
appeals,
let
we can
me-
come
I
together.
don't
Let
think
me-
you are-
let me
you are
bring in
just
Prosenjit.
agreeing to what I am saying is that
let me bring in
post-poll
Prosenjit
would
Biswas.
it would be a matter of convenience.
No,
more
but
than-
that is also an
you know,
ideological
Okay,
question.
let me-
That is
let me
also a
bring in-
question
let
of
me bring in-
principle.
once you
Yeah.
wait,
okay.
unless you make it clear before
Right.
the electorate what is the issue at hand.
But that's- I don't think
Swapnalil
that that's
talking-
necessary every
Swapnalil
day.
is
Yeah.
talking about the importance of the pre-poll alliance to make things clear even before the electorate, so that they can make up their mind. That is the point which Swapnalil is making. Now, let me go to Prosenjit Biswas. Prosenjit, do you agree that the political, fiscal, and institutional landscape of this country has undergone a sea change in the last couple of years? Both the political, fiscal, institutional landscape. Do you think the voters will take these things into consideration, or these are absolutely beyond the comprehension of the ordinary voters? What is your take?
For example, opening up Jan Dhan accounts haven't really given much money in the hands of the poor people. Rather, if they don't maintain a balance, money is rather deducted from their accounts. Now, you see, this kind of a subversive, tricky kind of a social engineering that could not work in the context of Uttar Pradesh or in the context of Bengal. Now, lower social castes and subaltern groups have come together, both in Bengal as well as in Uttar Pradesh. They have come together in Telangana, in Maharashtra, in Andhra Pradesh, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu. So you can see these large blocks of social forces coming together and
Right.
enthusing the local and regional party. And
Okay.
this is what is going to be BJP's Achilles heel in pursuing a centrist, nationalist, security kind of agenda. which of course has no takers in the context of Northeast, as you can see.
Centrist, Swapnil Barua, centrist, security-centric, national security-centric agenda is going to be the BJP's Achilles heel. That is the observation made by Prasenjit. That is going to create enough problems for you.
No, I don't think, because as I said in my opening remarks, is that it is the starting point. The nationalist agenda is the starting point, and it is not the only issue. There are other issues which are being highlighted, which in course of discourse has been subsided by, so I really don't think that the people, at least if you are a journalist, you have gone to the rural areas of the Northeast, you've had a feel of what the BPL section feels about the government, and that has been our prime concern in the last 5 years.
Just a question. Because there were two very important steps being taken up by this government, demonetization and GST. Both of these issues have not come up as as core narratives on the part of the political, on the part of BJP. I think that's very interesting.
BJP has not decided not to talk on these two issues, but the Congress made it a point of the core campaign strategy. Let me ask a very simple question to you, Mr. Ramawia. Very simple question to you. What do you expect? Small state like Mizoram, you have got two foreign neighbors, Myanmar and Bangladesh. A very simple question. What do you expect from the new government that is to be formed after 23rd of May? What is your expectation, Mr. Ramawia? That will give us an understanding. Mr. Ramawia, if you can hear me, what do you expect from the new government that will be formed after the 23rd? I think it's not connected. There's a line disruption. Let me try to understand this from Mr. Karluki. The same question to you, Mr. Karluki. What do you expect from the new government that will be formed after the 23rd?
Well, earlier I have said that the UPA government start with the Look East policy for the Northeast. Then the BJP government follow up with the Act East policy, which means their idea if the East is open to the Northeastern state, the Northeastern state will be benefit. So my expectation of any government is please do something and not only keep rhetoric talk, because till today we are still in Northeast, we are not reaching anywhere.
Okay. I think Mr. Ramawia is back with us. Mr. Ramawia, I was asking this very simple question to you. What do you expect from the new government that will be formed at the center after 23rd of May?
We all will see that after 23rd who will become the power. But from Mizoram, on coming to see the activities of NDA and UPA, and the NDA is led by Rahul Gandhi.
Mr. Ramawia, that is not what I am asking. I am asking
UPA
you.
Is led by Rahul Gandhi.
Mr. Ramawia, I am running very short of time. What do you expect from the new government? What does Mizoram expect? What are your needs? What do you expect from the new government?
Well, Wasbir, I think as a frequent visitor to Mizoram, I think the new government will have the new government for Mizoram at least will definitely concentrate on improving the communications.
Absolutely.
They will
that
be
is in
spreading
total
out,
disarray.
I mean, that is in very difficult condition. Connection to the mainland will definitely be a very important thing.
And the BJP's challenge will be to smoothen up its equations with the MNF and be sure whether it's your ally or not.
And definitely another area where we have to do is that trade with Myanmar through Mizoram is another area which we feel is to be taken up and will be taken up.
Yes, Jarita, Jarita, your last words. I'm running short of time. Jarita, what do you think is going to happen? What are the advantages that you have according to you? Do you have at all any advantage? Because Trinamool Congress is not your ally. You are fighting against the SP, BJP, BSP in Uttar Pradesh. 80 odd seats. You are fighting against each other.
Wasbir,
Yeah.
it's not, see, it is not about advantages. It is not,
Carry on.
Yes, please carry on. I can hear you.
Wasbir, in Hindi there is a very famous saying. In Hindi there is a very famous saying कि जनता सरकार बनाती है और जनता सरकार गिराती है. So इस बार जनता ने अपनी डिसीजन ले ली है एंड इस बार कांग्रेस की ही सरकार आएगी, वो गठबंधन में आएगी एंड वी आर वेरी श्योर कि आफ्टर 5 years of अन्याय finally we are going to have
Okay,
nyaya.
please, elections are over, Jarita. You don't have to talk about rhetoric. My question is, Jarita, elections are over. Let us not go into fresh round of rhetorics. My question is, you don't have an alliance with Trinamool. You didn't have an alliance with the SP, BSP. These are the big states. 120, 130 odd seats. You don't have an alliance at all.
I think there are cases like Assam. It's depending on resurrection by the people in the form of opposition, without being there.
Yes, Akhiranjan Datta, the same question to you. Because
So
where does the Congress stand a chance? Because these two big states, the heartland state,
As I have said,
what is your
there
personal
is
assessment?
a convergence. Even if they are not in alliance, but they have one single agenda in common, that is, defeating, communalism and communal forces in the country.
So you
but
think,
the other
you
question,
think at the end of the day, if necessary, they will all come together?
No, they will come together.
They will?
Not, yeah, they
Avinash,
will come
but
together.
will they come together?
No, but I think...
Is it so easy to come
no,
together?
I really don't think that it is so easy, because for a regional political party, its equation at the level of the state is much more important than the national equation. And if you see many of these parties, yes, they are talking about mutually common issues, but they are contradictory. They have contradictory positions at the level of the state. For example...
will the contradict? No, let's not go into details. Will the contradiction peak over the leadership issue as to who is going to become the prime minister
but
in
then-
case
No,
in case
I
they have
don't
the
think so.
numbers?
Of course,
As it happened in
in an
Karnataka,
equation,
it's not
in
going to have
an
any problem,
equation, if the SP decides to go towards the Congress, obviously Mayawati is going the opposite way. The same would be the case with the CPIM and the TMC. If the CPIM stays with the Congress, obviously TMC is not going to
So
ally
these
with the
are
same
these are
party.
these are
So
equations
these are
which are very
mutually-
tricky
yeah,
equations.
these are
there.
tricky
Prasenjit, how
equations
are you
at the level
looking
of
at the
state.
overall landscape? How do you think things are going to pan out on 23rd or post 23rd? Assuming that the anti-BJP forces have come up with a good performance, suppose, do you think they will still have trouble in forging an alliance?
There won't be any trouble in forcing any alliance post-poll. It is not an alliance of convenience, but it's an alliance of political lines and tactical alliance. For example, SP, BSP and Congress have arranged their political candidates in a manner that they are in a certain kind of understanding. Understanding
But I
is
think
what
both
is
the parties have
new form of
denied
alliance,
this.
which
Both
will be
SP and
continued
BSP
in
have
the
denied such
post-poll
an
Zarita,
understanding.
what are your thoughts?
Now,
Zarita,
this,
what are your thoughts?
This denial is keeping in mind the other major opponent. If they don't deny, BJP will get the chance to polarize.
But when
the
you are
vote
putting
in the
neutral
name of
candidates,
Muslim
automatically
state.
the vote is getting
Now,
split.
because there is a Congress
The entire
Muslim
equation had
candidate
been
and
made
there is a
thinking
Dalit
that
candidate
the
from
upper caste
SPPS
vote would
side,
shift towards the
and
Congress
they are
and
apparently
the
contesting with the tactical
Zarita, what are
understanding
your
will
thoughts?
not allow BJP to
Zarita
polarize the
Lightflang,
vote
what do you
in the
think?
name of Hindus and Muslims.
I think that is
So
just
this
wishful
tactical
conjectures
alliance
of the
is what going to
imagination.
be the post-poll form of alliance.
When the
This
vote is
kind of a
itself
highly
getting split in the
contested
first place, what kind of an alliance are we talking about in UP? And both the parties have openly
I think Zarita
posited
still cannot
candidates
hear
against
me.
both the parties.
No, but the other question that you raised is very important. You are asking only the political parties.
Yes, yes.
What can we
Yes, let
expect from
Zarita
the new
speak.
government?
Let
Yeah.
Zarita speak. Yes. Zarita, speak. I once again apologize to my viewers for this time gap. It is okay. We
Yeah.
cannot wait indefinitely for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
to happen. Mr. Kharluki, what are your
Wasbir,
concluding
can you-
remarks? Yes, carry on, Jarita. We can hear you.
concluding,
Yes, Karluki, yes. Mr. Karluki.
yes, yes. My concluding remark is this: that not only we have to look also at the political arithmetic, especially like in UP. My seeing of it is that the Congress is playing a spoil sport for the Mahagathbandhan. And now, you see, if you look at Bihar, before when JDU and RJD are together, they won a thumping majority. Now they are separate. It is very difficult for this Mahagathbandhan or whatever they say to come to power.
Okay,
And who is
Congress.
their prime minister?
Congress playing
Candidate.
a
They will
sport,
fight
spoil
over who is the
sport.
prime minister.
Mr. Ramaiah, what are your parting words? Mr. Ramaiah, what do you think at the end? Oh, I think our technical team really should gear up to fix up all these things.
But,
Mr. Ramaiah is not there on the line. Yes, Mr. Swapnil Borra, how would you like to end this debate?
I think there's no debate at all. We are winning the elections, we are forming government, and we look forward to that great responsibility of continuing the work that was left undone in the last
Absolutely, very confident there. Prosenjit Biswas, what are your last words? Prosenjit.
It is the tactical alliance.
Jarita,
and
please
shifting
speak.
Understanding between
We can
even
hear you,
opposing
Jarita.
alliances
Yes.
will settle a different kind of post-poll alliance just to keep BJP out of power. These anti-BJP alliances will come in a major way by really bringing up quite a few surprises. And
Right.
that is what is going to happen after 23rd of May.
Wasbir, we are very, very confident that on the 23rd of May, we are forming the government, and it will be time for BJP to actually hide its face and go into silence, just like their Prime Minister has decided to do after he kept quiet in a press conference, and now he's decided to go on another 2 days of Maun Vrat. So that Maun Vrat is going to continue for the next, God knows, another 10 to 15 years peacefully.
Okay,
if you allow me,
again,
because you're
rhetorics
talking,
there. Mr. Ramaiah, what are your last words? I'm running absolutely short of time. Mr. Ramaiah, how would you like to conclude?
Yes, on 23rd, counting of vote will take place, and the result will be out, and Indian people will know. And
of course,
we do expect.
Of course, the results will be out, and the people will know. But what do you think is going to happen?
Led by BJP, is forming a government in Delhi.
Okay, BJP is forming a government in Delhi. That much Mr. Ramaiah is going to stick his neck out there. We'll have to wait and watch. Akhil Ranjan Datta, real last words for you.
I'm not talking about which political party will form the government, but my expectation from the new government is this, that the constitutional foundation and institutional foundation of Indian democracy should be consolidated so that people, people are considered to be center of Indian politics.
Absolutely, there can be no debate on what Dr. Akhil Ranjan Datta has said. Institutional and constitutional institutions and framework has to be protected at all cost. I think all political parties will have to be committed to that. And at the end of this debate, I think both political parties, as expected, are absolutely confident. The BJP side and its allies are confident of a victory. So also is the Congress and the Congress's allies, which are very, very unclear at this stage. They are also absolutely confident, as Jarita Lightflang says, come 23rd and the Congress will form the government. But at the end of the day, voters are king. We'll have to wait and watch. And until then, it's goodbye and good night from me.